In this week's Totally Fucked Up Friday, I give you conclusive proof of how the world will end. Hashtag Jellygeddon.
Totally fucked up.
G'day viewers and welcome once more to Totally Fucked Up Friday. A roundup of some stories I found this week which really do prove the world's totally fucked up. First, the latest installment of Enjoy the Internet While It Lasts, because there's people who want to fucking kill it. Look, this week actually started off with some good news being circulated, where some European governments called the internet a basic human right in modern life. And they argued that the increasing trend towards introducing really punitive laws like a three strikes law, that if you were accused 3 times by an entertainment company of breaching copyright, then your entire household internet access should be cut off. They're saying that is a breach of this human right. Shouldn't happen. Sounded good. A little bit of a cause for celebration. Well, you know, don't pop the champagne just yet, because no one has quite as much effect on copyright law around the world as the US. And if you needed any more indication of which way that's going, like as opposed to recent things like the quaintly named Protect IP law, which I've covered before, you know, the random seizures of internet domains because the people had been accused of copyright infringement. Again, not convicted in court, just accused. The Obama administration has just appointed a new Solicitor General, a chap called Donald Verrilli. If you don't know, Solicitor General is basically the top legal officer in the US. He represents the administration in important court cases. He's the top dog as far as law goes. Yeah, he's not a judge as in the Supreme Court, but he's the top law advocate for the US administration. He's a former RIAA lawyer. He's represented them in absolutely extremist copyright cases. In case you wanted a clue, he was heading up the Viacom versus YouTube case. A case that I've gone on before, totally without merit. Was actually rejected by a judge last year. Viacom are apparently too fucking stupid to know when they're on a losing case and are going to appeal it, and they'll lose again. Just this sort of extremism is shit. But now the top legal officer in the US represents that shit. And just in case anyone was going to say, oh, well, he's only one guy, he's one of at least 5 former RIAA lawyers the Obama administration has appointed to roles within their administration. That is totally fucked up. Now, this next story is fucked up. It's also sad, tragic, and pathetic, and I've avoided it as much as possible simply because of the awfulness of it. Now, this is probably the most fucked up, sad little story in Australian media this year, and it all revolves around a 17-year-old girl and her allegations about some football players and a representative of football players. Now, she published photos of some players with their tackle out. She said that she'd had sex with the players. She at one point said she was pregnant. And then a guy who supposedly represents the players, he's like their manager, one Ricky Nixon, got involved. And it just got so pathetic. Pathetic to the point where this middle-aged man goes to the hotel room of this 17-year-old girl in the wee small hours, and all we know for sure that came out of that is we have a video of him prancing about on her bed in his undies. This is a guy who's meant to be representing these players' best interests, and he's going to the hotel room of this clearly extremely troubled young woman who's trying to destroy the careers of the players he supposedly represents. It was not really surprising when they got a bit upset with him. And he was actually barred from being a player representative after an inquiry was held. And the inquiry found that they believed the evidence showed that he had had sex with this girl and he had done drugs with this girl, which he continued to deny, despite the fact there was a bit of evidence pointing in that direction. Now, This got even more sad, pathetic and twisted this week, where the young lady in question went on another TV show and she said everything she'd said up to that point was lies. She hadn't had sex with this guy Ricky Nixon, hadn't done drugs with him. That was all lies. Now, bearing in mind almost everything she'd said prior to that was proven to be lies. The football players didn't send her the photos. Someone else had possession of them and she has somehow got a hold of them. It's been described as stolen, but I don't know if it would really qualify as stolen. But anyway, the pictures were not sent to her, she's admitted. She was never pregnant. She admitted that was a lie. There is absolutely no evidence that any of the players have had sex with her despite her allegations. And now she went on a TV show and said that what she said about Ricky Nixon was also lies. It gets a bit stranger because when the interview was over and they'd gone to a commercial break, she's sitting there with the people on the show saying, wow, that was tough. And then she basically said, I'm sure you can already tell that everything I just said to you then was also a lie. So she said to them, I was lying about lying. Apparently thinking she was safe in saying that because they'd gone to a commercial break, but she was still sitting in a TV studio in front of cameras. So she lied or lied about lying or lied about. Oh, and then she went on Twitter a bit later and said she was joking when she said she was lying about lying. Are you having as much trouble as me in following this? The real problem with this, all this story is about decisions. Really fucked up decisions. These players deciding to get pictures taken of their cocks, really bad decision. Honestly, this girl or any girl getting involved, when you're underage, getting involved with these football players, or for that matter, with pop stars, TV personalities, fucking a star. Very poor decision. I really have to say, I think probably the worst decision was definitely Ricky Nixon. The player manager going to the hotel room of this girl who's clearly trying to destroy his players' careers. What sort of fucked unit do you have to be to make that decision? And look, it has been raised, this girl is 17. She's underage. She's a legal minor. Where are all her parents in this? And I have seen an interview with the parents, and forget about questioning their ability to make good parental decisions. I would question their ability to make good shoelace decisions. This all comes down to everyone is making the wrong decision, and most importantly, including the media who've been on this non-stop. You know what would have stopped this trail of self-destruction of this poor, misguided, if not mentally ill girl? Not giving her coverage. Saying, well, you know what? This is a bad, fucked up situation. She's too young to be exposed to that. She's incapable of making an intelligent decision to protect herself. We shouldn't feed into this. No, they go the complete opposite, parade her out again and again and again, and pay her for a story, put her up in hotel rooms. It's just, why the fuck are people making such fucked up decisions? And for anyone who thinks they would be clever by commenting, oh, but aren't you doing the same thing? No, you fucking idiot. I am not paying her. I'm not parading her in front of cameras. I am not feeding her desperate and self-destructive need for attention. If you can't tell the difference, it's hardly my problem that you're so fucking clueless. And finally, have I ever mentioned nature's out to get us? Well, a story I read this week is the most conclusive evidence yet that we are seriously fucked. It's also possibly the creepiest evidence. Jellyfish numbers have been exploding since the 1990s, and this is a problem because the waste products produced by these jellyfish are not useful in the food chain. And that's quite unusual. It's almost always the case that one creature's waste is consumed by another creature, from the biggest down to the microbes, plants, animals, birds, fish. It seems to be universal, but not jellyfish. So the growth in jellyfish population could be of major disturbance to the food chain. That in and of itself is bad and creepy and could have bad long-term effects. It gets worse. Let's talk about the Nomura jellyfish. Guess how big it is. Go ahead, guess. These fucking things get to be about 2 meters across. That's 6 feet if you're metrically challenged. They weigh about 200 kilograms. 400 pounds some have been recorded at. They are the size of a fucking fridge. It gets worse. They have been known to sink ships when they swarm in massive numbers. Now I want you to think for a while, how many do I mean when I say massive numbers? Because one of them is fucking big. So what's a massive swarm? If you were thinking they swarm in numbers of 50 million, don't be so fucking stupid, okay? They swarm in groups of up to 500 million! What the holy fuck is going on? Look, if I saw one jellyfish that was 2 meters across, I would freak right the fuck out. If I saw 500 million little transparent ones, I would freak right the fuck out. But I'm sorry, 500 million giant jellyfish, it's the end, people. They're coming for us, they're sinking ships. It's only a matter of time till they learn how to walk on land. It's coming. Don't fool yourself. I don't know what's behind it yet. I don't know if Aquaman's gone bad. I don't know if there's some Dr. Evil type at the bottom of the ocean going, I want a bigger yacht. Fetch it for me. Or I don't know if just, individual jellyfish are dumb, but if they're like ants, if they've got some sort of hive mind and collectively they've just decided we're gonna fuck these humans up. Either way, people, forget the zombie apocalypse. The day of the jellyfish is coming.